coming up, we have wonderful music from the one and only Tia Fuller, and we're going to be speaking with Kathy Wade. Let's play a little bit of Tia Fuller here in just a moment. She's going to be appearing in Cincinnati tomorrow night, rain or shine, at Eden Park Season Good Pavilion. We're going to find out about how she's connected to Disney's movie Soul. She led the Berkeley Rainbow Band and more. We're going to talk with her and Kathy Wade, but here's a little bit of Tia Fuller. You might know her or recognize her face when you see her tomorrow night as Dorothea Williams from the movie Soul as well. That is a bit of a song called The Coming by Tia Fuller. You know her, you might recognize her when you see her face because she was the inspiration behind Dorothea Williams from Disney's Soul. We have Kathy Wade joining us right now, and then we'll have Tia joining us in a moment here. Kathy, Learning Through Art, celebrating 30 years, and we have the Crown Jewels of Jazz coming up starting tomorrow night. This is a weekly event. Kathy, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Tell us a little bit about what's going to be happening tomorrow night. This is, again, July the 6th from 6:30 to 8:30 p.m. This is the beginning of the Crown Jewels of Jazz, correct?
Everybody knows Crown Jewels of Jazz in some form. We've been down in Washington Park and Smell Park. It's been Crown Jewels, cocktails and Crown Jewels. Well, once I moved back into Bond Hill, we brought the Crown Jewels of Jazz with us and did it on the lawn of St. Al's for many, many years, for about 4 years. And in honor of our 30th anniversary, we wanted to go back to our roots, which is over at Season Good Pavilion in Eden Park. And we are actually doing the lineup that we had planned to do when everything shut down around COVID. We were doing a celebration of women in jazz. So this is that lineup, and we're so excited to be able to present it.
Wednesday, tomorrow, that's July the 6th, from 6:30 to 8:30 p.m. at Eden Park Season Good Pavilion. And we're going to check to see if we have Tia Fuller here joining us. Tia, are you with us?
Yes, I am. Hi.
Thank you both so much for being on with us. And give us an idea of what people are going to hear as part of the Crown Jewels of Jazz tomorrow night from 6:30 to 8:30.
Well, they're going to be hearing actually a combination of music. I'm really excited to premiere and present some new music from a new album that I think I'm naming Intersections. But also going to be hearing some songs from my Grammy-nominated album Diamond Cut. So it'll be essentially intersections of music. And I'm also very excited because I'm going to be introducing Miss Lexi Hamner, who's on several dates, and she's actually a native of Cincinnati, Ohio, and she was one of my students at Berkeley College of Music who graduated last year. But she's going to be playing trombone and singing. And then I'm also going to be introducing my nephew, who's 19 years old. He's a great drummer. His name is Colby Royston, amongst my sister, who is Colby's mom, Shami Fuller Royston. And then on bass is going to be India Owens. Great bassist. She plays on, I think it's the Stephen Colbert Show. So we're going to have a great time of celebration of music, and in particular, women in jazz. Colby's going to be the only young man on stage. And this might be a first for him, but I know that he's grown up being around strong women of color, so he's very used to that.
And this is a free event. This is happening from 6:30 to 8:30 this Wednesday, tomorrow, July the 6th. Part of the Crown Jewels of Jazz, in fact, kicking off the Crown Jewels of Jazz. You can find out more at LTA30th.com. That's LTA30th.com for Learning Through Art 30th. And I know, Tia, we've talked about the fact that you've led the Berkeley Rainbow Band and you have taught at Berkeley and had some incredible students. I've read some of the reviews of your work with some of the students. It's amazing, and congratulations as well on the Grammy nomination. That is incredible. So have you been to Cincinnati before?
Oh, yes. I've been to Cincinnati several times. I played at its Commonly Jazz Festival with Miss Laura Gentry as well. And I was a guest artist with the College Conservatory of Music. It'll be nice to come back and kind of commune with some family that I have out there, extended family, I guess you could say.
Once again, we're talking with Tia Fuller and Kathy Wade. Tia Fuller is going to be the guest artist, special guest artist, along with Lexi Hamner, Colby Royston, Shamis Fuller-Royston, and India Owens on stage at Eden Park Season Good Pavilion tomorrow night from 6:30 to 8:30. This is just the beginning of the Crown Jewels of Jazz. Kathy, they're going to be literally a concert every week.
Every week.
We're going to have one next week. That's going to be at the Bond Hill Corinthian Church. But then on July 20th and 27th, you return back to Season Good Pavilion. Is that correct?
Yes, we do. We come back with Straight Ahead out of Detroit, 5 wonderful, incredible jazz female musicians. And we close with Valérie Grachet, who is from our sister city in Nancy, France. We did a Jazz Ambassadors Exchange program. She's coming over here, but highly noted, incredible jazz vocalist.
We also have Tia Fuller here with us, who will be the featured artist tomorrow evening at Eden Park in Season Good Pavilion. Again, this is Rain or Shine, and Kathy and I were talking before the interview, and we were talking about the fact that it's really important to kind of check social media if it looks like there might be rain or anything like that. But the event does happen, rain or shine, correct?
Yes, it does. Absolutely. I'd like to keep that jazz rolling. Yes,
exactly.
And I just want to also say, Lexi Hamner, oh, my Lord, she is amazing. Amazing.
We heard a little bit of The Coming, which was an earlier recording from Tia. Tia, talk about your connection to Disney's Soul. How did that come about?
Well, the connection to Soul, it was really, I guess it was a blessing that it kind of fell in my lap, because when I initially got the call, I think they had somebody else in mind, and they weren't able to make it. I'm not sure who that was, but I think they played tenor saxophone. But either way, I was able to make the date, and long story short, they had called, and it was actually somebody from Ted Curlin Agency. They called me and gave me the scope and said they're looking for someone who is a woman of color, a black woman, and plays the saxophone and is a badass. And so I told them I would make myself available. And then I got a call from the artistic director. It was Tom McDougall, and he kind of gave me this spread of John Baptiste, who's going to be the musical director, Linda O, Roy Haynes is going to be on it, Marcus Gilmore, and I was like, oh, definitely. And then they didn't tell me the full scope of the movie, but they did say that we would be playing and, of course, recording. So when I went there, I didn't know that they were actually going to take my image and kind of, they knew that they wanted a black woman, and they had already sketched out someone, but when Soul actually came out and the trailer came out, Dorothea looked more like me. They had changed her look, and they had basically mimicked all of my gestures and all of the characters' gestures, to where one of my best friends, when we were watching it, she was like, that's how you sit on a stool. That's how you adjust your mouthpiece. So they really got it down to the minutia of everybody's gestures and character. And they had 3 cameras, one on my face, one on my fingers, and one on my body. And I was really amazed at the fact that every single note that I played and that John Baptiste played, they captured, and they were the exact notes that you saw on the characters, that the characters were playing.
We're speaking with Tia Fuller and with Kathy Wade. Tia is going to be performing as part of the Crown Jewels of Jazz with Learning Through Art, celebrating its 30th year. And once again, they do so many things within our community, family adventures, and Learning Through Art, celebrating its 30th year. But the Crown Jewels of Jazz has been something that, Kathy, you have to be incredibly proud of, because you are bringing jazz right into communities and making it available free. What a great cultural impact this is.
That's actually part of how we started. One was to augment the dwindling arts in schools, and then the other was just to build community through art. And we've been so fortunate to have the support of the community to do that. I'm a jazz singer, and it's a selfish thing. Crown Jewels got started as our signature fundraiser simply because I wanted to meet every living jazz diva that was alive at that time. And that started out to be a wonderful adventure. We started with Rosemary Clooney, had Diane Shore here 3 times, Nancy Wilson twice, Cleo Lane and John Dankworth came over from London. It's been a wonderful run. We had Shirley Horn. That was always my all-time favorite show. And then we closed, the very last one was with Eartha Kitt. So it's been about supporting, representing, recognizing, celebrating women in jazz.
And also the generational impact of these women. Kathy, you're one of our first ladies of jazz within the region, if not in the country as well. Tia, an incredible saxophone player, Grammy nominated, and played with Beyonce, played for President Barack Obama. It's just an incredible evening with Tia, along with Lexi Hamner and Colby Royston, Shamise Fuller-Royston, and Indian Owens. It's going to be a great evening, 6:30 to 8:30 tomorrow night. You can find out more at LTA30th.com. That's LTA30th.com. Tia, coming back to you for just a moment. Yeah, you've played with Beyonce, played for the president, Barack Obama. What was it like working with John Baptiste? Just an incredible musician as well. That must have been an incredible experience.
Oh, yeah. It's funny because I actually met John when he first got to the scene, I think back in like 2003 or 4. And so he was really young. He had just come from New York. And then I remember just seeing him gigging more and more. And then I saw him years later, and he was working with this band, and he had put a great show together. And I heard him singing because I had known him as a piano player. And so this was like about my third or fourth time seeing him and being able to play with him. And, I mean, he's just extraordinary. He's grown so immensely, and he's such a great voice in the music. To talk about intersections, he's really been able to delve into both worlds of, like, TV and jazz and work that piece of being able to create those intersections. Really proud of him.
We're going to have more intersections of jazz Wednesday night. One last question on soul, and then we'll get back to the performance tomorrow night. What was it like seeing your likeness voiced by Angela Bassett?
Oh, my goodness. It was quite extraordinary. I have a goal sheet, and this never made my goal sheet. I would have never even expected the abundance of the opportunity that this afforded. And, of course, growing up, Angela Bassett has been one of my favorite actors on the scene for, the past couple decades. I just love how she has always encompassed being a strong black woman. I remember my mom and I, we used to watch her movies and be like, look at her body, oh my God, look at her shoulders. But she's just a powerhouse in Hollywood, and what an honor. Ironically enough, in 2019 when I went to the Grammys, I was on this red carpet for the Clive Davis Grammy party. And ironically enough, I met her. She was right before me walking on the red carpet where all the paparazzi are taking pictures. And so I got a chance to take a picture with her. So it was almost like a foreshadowing of sorts. It was amazing to see it come to fruition. Of course, I didn't meet her during the recording.
Right.
But to just see how soul came together with her voice and all of the music, and it's just really a blessing.
Tia, who were some of your inspirations as you were growing up?
Well, my family, of course, they're all musicians, and I came from a family band called Fuller Sound in Aurora, Colorado. So my dad plays bass, and we just lost my mom a couple months ago, but she was a vocalist. And then my sister, who's going to be on the date with me. But outside of my family, as far as saxophonists, one of the first transcriptions I did was Cannonball Adderley's Star Still on Alabama.
Oh, man, yeah.
And then of John Coltrane, I think my second transcription was Giant Steps.
Wow.
For John Coltrane. And that was when I was at Spelman College. I'm a proud Spelman College alumni from Atlanta, Georgia. And talk about powerhouses and strong black women. Spelman is on the forefront of many women out there who are doing the thing, black women out here. So those have been a couple of my influences.
That's tremendous. We're down to our last couple of minutes here. We have Tia Fuller. Now, we hope we've whetted your appetite because Tia Fuller is going to be performing tomorrow night, 6:30 to 8:30, rain or shine at Eden Park at Season Good Pavilion. This is part of the Crown Jewels of Jazz. And Kathy Wade also joining us here because she is the mastermind behind Learning Through Art and the Crown Jewels of Jazz. You've heard what a name dropper, but boy, you've brought some great names to town, including Tia Fuller, and we're so thrilled to have her in town tomorrow. But Kathy, anything you want to add on Learning Through Art? Other things going on with the 30th anniversary?
The only concert that's out of sequence will be next week when we have our evening with the Cincinnati Pops. I'll be singing along with Diane Monroe playing jazz violinist out of Philly. We are closing with an evening with a new signature fundraiser, and it will be Kurt Ehling and the Springfield Symphony Jazz Orchestra under the direction of Todd Stoll. So we're real excited about closing our 30th anniversary. Got to close it out on jazz. I mean, what else is there, right? And right. I just want to say on behalf of Learning Through Art, we're so happy, so proud. Thank you so much for hanging in there with us, Ms. Fuller, for waiting for this date to happen. We are so happy to have you here to kick this off for us. You're representing what every woman needs to see right now. So thank you.
Well, Kathy, you beat me to it because I was about to say thank you for having me. I really appreciate the invitation to come back, and to celebrate this crown jewel.
I wanted to ask both of you as we close out here, are you thinking about the ripple effect that each of you have, not just on jazz players, but especially female jazz players, that kind of inspiration that they say, hey, I can do this?
Yeah, the funny thing is, women, we've always been a part of the texture and the fabric of this music. And unfortunately, we've been written out of a lot of it. But the more that I read in my history, I actually have a PowerPoint presentation called The History of Women in Jazz. And we have Mary Lou Williams, who taught Dizzy Gillespie and Thelonious Monk. They used to go to her house after their gigs and sit with her. Lil Houghton Armstrong was on the precipice and like the forefront of Louis Armstrong's Hot 5 and Hot 7 recordings. We've always been in it, and I think now there is just more of a visible platform that is allowing for us to more so be heard and written back into this music. But it has been his story, and it's slowly changing, and I think it's programs and festivals such as the Crown Jewels that is giving us the opportunity to continue to celebrate how much that our foremothers have contributed to this music.
Absolutely agree with that. I also just want to do a very quick thank you to my producing partner, Laura Gentry, who is truly, this only works because we both understand how to stay in our lane.
I want to thank you both, Kathy Wade and Tia Fuller. Kathy, thank you for all that you're doing within our community. Tia, thank you for coming back to Cincinnati and really making a tremendous difference here as far as sending a great message, but also bringing some great jazz to Cincinnati. Thank you both so much for being with us, and we hope people will come out. Once again, here are the details. It's rain or shine tomorrow night. That's July the 6th at Eden Park, 6:30 to 8:30 p.m. It's part of the Crown Jewels of Jazz concert. You want to check it out? You can find out more at LTA30th.com. That's LTA30th.com for Learning Through Art 30th. And Kathy, any other way people should be touching base and finding out about the event?
You can find us anywhere and everywhere on social media right now.
Look up Learning Through Art. You'll find it right there, LTA30th.com.
Looking forward to seeing everyone, and thank you so much for having us.
Thank you both, Tia and Kathy. We appreciate so much. You're listening to WMKV and WLHS.